The WWE has an opportunity to create one of the more stacked teams that we have seen in WWE history. If it does happen, this team would consist of three members, and three members who are already some of the top names in WWE. And the reason for them coming together and forming some sort of team, group, faction, whatever you want to call it, is that they're all fighting the same battle in a way. If you already know who I'm talking about, good for you. If you don't know who I'm talking about Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. So the first big question that I'm going to ask is it possible for these three to come together and form a group? And my answer to you is I think that it is unlikely, but not impossible. And what I mean by that is it's unlikely because two of the three already have different feuds going on right now. And they're not all on the same show, but that can change in an instant because, let's be honest, the brand split is a complete joke at some points. And I say it's not impossible because a lot of people thought that it was impossible for CM Punk to come back to the WWE, and we all know how that turned out. So I think that what we've learned from watching WWE and pro wrestling in general is to expect the unexpected, and something is never truly impossible. So again, I think it's unlikely, but I don't think it's impossible. Starting off with Seth Rollins. Now, Seth Rollins is obviously very involved with his feud with CM Punk as they continue to build for their match at the Raw on Netflix debut. And on a recent episode of Monday Night Raw, we saw Drew McIntyre kind of recruiting Seth Rollins in a way, to which Seth Rollins said that he is technically friends with both Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. And you could probably tag Cody Rhodes into that mix because obviously they tag team together for WrestleMania 40. I throw Cody Rhodes into that mix because of the involvement of Kevin Owens. And Seth Rollins is a babyface right now. He is one of the bigger babyfaces in the company, in my opinion. And while I still think that a heel turn from him is very possible during this feud with CM Punk, it's still something that may not happen. Taking a look at Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is obviously very involved with his feud with Cody Rhodes, and I do think that Kevin Owens is more likely to join Drew McIntyre possibly than Seth Rollins would be. Obviously, Kevin Owens already being a heel makes it a more easier transition, and we have already had Kevin Owens mention Sami Zayn and a possible feud there coming, which we've already seen Drew McIntyre have a feud and a match with Sami Zayn. So again, I think Kevin Owens is more likely than Seth Rollins, but again, it's something that I necessarily wouldn't put all my money on. Again, looking at the names that I have here, it would be a monster team. Again, you have three of the more popular superstars, three of the biggest names in the company, all coming together on one team. And considering what we're getting from Drew McIntyre right now as he continues to go through the OG bloodline, Drew McIntyre did mention that there were four more. Now, as for who those four more are, I don't know. We can probably speculate that it's Jey Uso, possibly Roman Reigns, and maybe the Bloodline 2.0. If it is going to be from the Bloodline 2.0, my guess is it would be Solo Sikoa, because it was Solo Sikoa who, when he debuted, interfered in Drew McIntyre's match against Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle. So let's not forget, Drew McIntyre pretty much had that match won, and probably would have won had it not been for Solo. So I think Solo Sikoa is very much on the table in all of this, and obviously has history with both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn now. And that leads us to the why. Why would these three come together and form some sort of group? Well, it all comes down to one thing: the bloodline. We talked about how both Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are both currently in feuds. Kevin Owens involved with Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins involved with CM Punk. But the underlying story in both of those feuds is the bloodline. Obviously, it's a little lesser on the CM Punk Seth Rollins feud, but it is still something that is there. Because obviously, Seth Rollins teaming with the Bloodline at War Games, getting that favor from Paul Heyman. So CM Punk is very well incorporated into the Bloodline storyline now. And obviously, Kevin Owens' main reason for turning on Cody Rhodes is because he teamed with Roman Reigns at Bad Blood. And then you have Drew McIntyre, who's just going through the bloodline one by one. And again, we did just see Drew McIntyre almost sounding like he was possibly trying to recruit Seth Rollins. Again, there is a lot of stuff that does go against them possibly teaming up, but I do think that you still could make the argument for them. So that's why earlier I said it's unlikely but not impossible, because there are a lot of stuff going against it, but there is a lot of stuff working in its favor. And again, I feel like the majority of the WWE universe would love to see a team of heel Seth Rollins, this version of Drew McIntyre, and a heel Kevin Owens in a team. I mentioned it in a previous video that Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are two of the best heels of all time, and this current version of Drew McIntyre is arguably his best. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. Do you want to see a team that consists of Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens? Also, let me know if you think that it's possible that they could team up, or do you think that there's no chance in hell that they ever team up? Let me know all that stuff down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That link will take you to all of the social medias for this channel, and I do suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, sometimes Friday Night SmackDown, and sometimes the PLEs. I say sometimes because this time of the year and for the next couple months, Fridays and Saturdays are just really, really busy for me. More times than not, and providing something unforeseen doesn't happen, I am always going to be available for Monday Night Raw. But above all else, I want the X page to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling. Wrestling on its own is great, but when you have people to talk to about it and nerd out about it, it's so much better. And if you're like me, you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. If all that does apply to you, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw, join another conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. Now that all that's done and out of the way, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, because both are free and both really help out the channel a lot. As always, stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.